To get at the jack in the Hyundai Sonata trunk, first you got to remove the carpet from the bottom of the trunk, and near the rear of the carpet there are two little square holes that are actually go through a few hooks, and I'll show you that. And you need to release the carpet from those holes. Here's the little hole in the carpet, and there's a little hook that just comes up through this. Okay, so just make sure that you don't tear at that. Just pull it off and release it from the hole, from the hook. Okay, then just pull the carpet out. And then you'll see the base of the trunk, and there's a piece of I don't know why I'd say plastic here that's covering the spare tire. It has a handle near the front. See if I can get you a better angle on that. The handle's right here, so just pick it up. There's your little handle. Pull out that plastic piece. And now you're looking at the there we go, the spare wheel and the jack assembly. The jack assembly has a lug wrench and a little hook here to help you actually to hook to the jack up the jack. So all you need to do to get that out, just pick it up, lift it out. And the last thing you'll see is a little lock washer or nut on the spare tire. I would say something you should do on a yearly basis is check the air pressure on that wheel, make sure that there's air in it. You wouldn't want to have to use it and have it be flat. Yeah, it's good. And the air pressure on this wheel is 60 psi, which is much higher than your regular wheel, but then again, it's just a spare donut wheel. Okay, we're not taking that out today. I just wanted to show you where the jack, there we go, this is the jack here, the jack tool which hooks onto here, and I'll show you that. This comes out like this, and here's your lug wrench. It's quite a nice little system actually for holding the jack. I'm not used to seeing them in a piece of styrofoam like that. Okay, so the way this works is you put the hook in here like that. Okay, and then you insert the jack handle through the base of that wrench right here, like so, and then you just crank it to lift or to lower it. Okay, now I'm not going to use these tools to change the wheel, because I have a floor jack and I have a nicer lug wrench to do that with. But if this is all you have to change your wheel or to pull your wheel off, well, that's what you're going to need to use. Now this jack, give you better lighting there. There we go. This jack, as you can see, has a notch in it right here. Okay, that notch goes into specific points on the car, and they're in front. They're in front of the wheel, underneath the car, and my next shot, I'll show you what they look like and where that needs to go. Okay, like I said, I'm not going to use it, but if it's all you have, I'll show you how to use it. Okay, this is the rear wheel, and the jack point on the chassis is approximately where my foot is, right here. Okay, that's in front of the rear wheel, facing the front of the car, and then there's another jack point behind the front wheel right around here. Again, I will be showing you exactly what they look like. There's our jack, the standard jack that comes with the car, assembled with the hook in the jack, in the screw, with the lug wrench put through the hook correctly to crank that up. Now, like I said, I'm going to be changing the wheel, but I'm not going to be using those tools, but I will show you how to use them just in case you don't have floor jack and the various tools that I have. You can use these to get the wheel off. Okay? Okay, here's the edge of your car. This is a plastic lip, so you don't want to jack on that because you'll just break it, you'll snap it. But if you look further inside, you'll see that there's a steel rail, okay? And that the steel rail has two little notches on it. Now this is the front steel rail, and as you can see, it's right there. So what you would do with your standard jack is fit the slot that's in the jack right there in between, so that it fits inside that rail, right? So the back of the slot would go behind the rail, and the front of the slot will go in front of the rail, between those two notches. Okay, I'll get you a better, closer look there. Okay, so again, as you can see, there's two notches in the rail. 1, 2 there. This is where the jack point is, okay? And that basically you put that rail through that notch right there, and you know, jack up the car at that point. Now, the reason why they want you to do it at those specific points is because it's a point of strength on the car. If you put it anywhere else, you may be damaging the car. You could dent the floor or break the plastic here, as it, you know. So, and not only that, it's the safest point to jack up the car to remove the wheel. Okay. Now I'm not going to be using that. I have a floor jack, so but I just wanted to show it to you so that you could see it being done. Okay. Oh, I'm going to also show you how to crank this up and down, just in case you don't know. Okay, so you take the hooked end of this apparatus that we have here. Let me get the light out of the, there, that's much better. Right? Put it through the eye, like that, and, excuse me, but it's kind of hard to do this stuff at ground level. And then just, you know, crank it up. So clockwise to lift and counterclockwise to lower. And this is the rear jack point. As you can see, the rail has two notches in it, and the jack would go through here to lift this car up. This is the rear tire here, as you can see. Just wanted to show you where the rear one was. It's a good distance from the edge of the car into the underneath the body of the car, and this is where your jack should go to lift up your car. Again, like I said, I'm not going to be using that jack. I'm going to be using a floor jack, so I won't be using those points. But if you don't have a choice, that's where the car jack that comes out of the trunk should be used to lift the car up from. Alright, what you see here on the floor are the items I like to use, as well as the items that are absolutely necessary to take a wheel off your car. What you will need, if you have nothing else, is the standard car jack that comes with the Sonata, or your whatever kind of car you have. The hook or tool that hooks onto the screw that makes the jack go up and down, plus the lug wrench and crank for that system. Those are the must-have tools you know, minimum you need to have. Please remember to follow all the safety precautions. In other words, put your car in park, don't do this on a hill, be on a flat surface, use your emergency brake. If you have chocks, use your chocks, so on. What I'm going to use, and I almost consider this, the torque wrench, to be essential as well, as there is a specific torque that these nuts should go back onto the car with, and that torque value is between 65.1 and 79.6 foot-pounds according to Hyundai. Your car, if it's a different model, may be different, but on the Sonata 2011, that's the torque value. Okay, so there's your torque wrench. It's not a must-have, but it's a pretty well must-have. With this little lug wrench here, it's pretty hard for you to over torque the nuts, but it's quite easy to under torque. So I would say get yourself one of those. There'll be a link to torque wrench and all these tools in the description. Four-way. I'm going to use a four-way wrench here, lug wrench. I use that to break the nuts. In other words, to take the initial torque off the wheel, off the nuts on the wheel. You know, if you really want to go all the way, there's an impact air wrench, which I may or may not use, but depends. Basically, you can take the nuts off pretty quick using that wrench. And last but not least, my aluminum floor jack, which makes life way easier than using this thing here. Okay. You may also want to use jack stands if you're going to be taking off more than one wheel, or if you want to be totally safe with this. When you jack up the car, just use a solid jack stand to hold it. Okay, so next we're going to take the wheel off, and I'm going to show you the procedure for doing that. Okay, step one in taking the wheel off is loosening the lug nuts. So if you're using the standard wrench, the same thing either way, but there is actually a pattern that you should do to undo the lug nuts and to put them back on again. So, and generally it's a cross pattern. So what you're going to do is go from one across to the next one, across to the next one, across to the next one, and across to the next one. Okay? If you're using this little lug wrench that came with the spare tire, you know, it's pretty basic. Just counterclockwise, loosen it, take it off. Okay? As you can see, it's going to be hard because you know, it looks like these have been put on with a torque wrench. I'm going to use my lug wrench, this lug wrench, to take those off, as it's got way more leverage than that tool. So let's go with that. Find the right size. I would say that was it. Yep. Too big, too much slack on that. There we go. It's the 13/16 size that I'm using on this. Okay, so for safety's sake, you loosen the lug nuts with the wheel on the ground, because you have to put a lot of pressure on this to undo the nuts, and if you have the wheel up in the air, that may be a problem. As well, if you have the wheel up in the air, you know, and you're moving the car around, not a really good idea for safety. Plus, if your emergency brake isn't on tight enough, it'll just spin the wheel, number one. Number two, it's just the safest way to do it. Wheel on the ground, loosen the lug nuts. Oh, I'm just breaking my rule, gotta go across. Okay, next one, cross over here. There we go. And that's it. That's loose enough that now you can jack the car up and take the wheel right off the car. And if you're changing the wheel because it's flat, or because you know, for whatever reason, the procedure is the exact same in reverse to put it back on again. But I'll show you that anyway. So next I'm going to jack it up and take the wheel off, pretty basic, and show you what you got when you get the wheel off, and then put it back in again. I've jacked up the car. As I showed you earlier, with you could do that with your regular spare tire jack. I'm using my my nice floor jack that I have. So now it's off the ground, emergency brake is on, and next is just loosen all the lug nuts. So let's go at it. Like I said, I know you won't have, you probably won't have one of these wrenches on the side of the road if you're changing the wheel or your tire, but I'd have them because I'm in my garage. You'll have your regular jack lug wrench. And that's the nice thing about these, you start them spinning, they just keep spinning. I could use my impact wrench to get them off, but I don't need to. Okay, so always across the next one. There's a lug. That's what the lug nuts look like. Coming off nicely. And I'd say if you're taking off the wheel, it's a good opportunity to clean the inside of the rim off. I think I'll do that. Another lug nut, last lug nuts. And then just pull the wheel off. Here's what's left. And you'll see a lot of the dirt you don't get when you clean off your car, when you clean your car on the inside. Not a real big deal. Most people don't even see that. So there we go. I think I'm going to paint these calipers too, and I'll show you. I'll make a video on that. So that's how you take off the wheel. Now putting it back on is the exact reverse process, okay? Loosely put the lug nuts on. Your wheel will want to do this, but just hold it like this. Finger tight will do. Always do it finger. Always tighten it with your finger first. Don't use the wrench and try and put it on, because you can cross thread it that way. You know with your finger if you don't have it on the bolt correctly. It should just spin on just like that. Push the wheel towards center like that. There we go. Finger tight will do. Like I said, hand tighten them first. That way you know you're not cross-threading them. Not a lot of fun having to take one of these lug bolts off, wheel bolts off, to replace. Okay, now they're all finger tight snug. I'm going to give them all a little spin here. Just, boop, that's very, very lightly done. But snug with your finger and snug with a lug wrench, two different things. And as you can see, I'm still doing that cross pattern. I will put the instructions for that pattern on this video as well, straight from Hyundai, and I'll give you a link of where you can get all the information for your Hyundai vehicle for free on the internet from Hyundai. That's it. So I've put the lug nuts on. They're now wrenched on snug, I would say. I wouldn't say tight, because what I want to do next is drop the car down and do the final tightening, which I'm going to do to spec. In other words, to the exact right torque that Hyundai recommends for this wheel. So I've dropped the wheel down or the car back down to the ground. The wheel is now in contact with the ground. And at this point you could use your lug wrench, your little car lug wrench here, to tighten them down, you know, to what you think is tight enough, but you know, or as tight as you can go. But I don't recommend that. If you're on the side of the road, well, you have no choice. But if you're in your garage, I suggest buying a torque wrench and torquing it down to the correct torque, which is 79.6 or between 65.1 and 79.6. So this is a click type torque wrench here, and you just adjust it by screwing the handle up to the right level. So I'm going to put that up to 79. What's the max? It says 79.6. Okay, and procedure is pretty straightforward. Remember, cross pattern every time. That click means that I've reached the torque that I needed. And that's it. Your wheel's back on and ready to roll. Correctly torqued down to the specified torque, and you can feel safe and confident that wheel's going to perform well. Alright, that's how you take the wheel off your vehicle and put it back on your vehicle. This is a Hyundai Sonata 2011 Type T, but it's pretty well the same procedure for all cars. If your car is a different car than this, make sure you get the correct torque value for your lug nuts. Thanks for watching.